Good morning, and I am Brian Martin. I may repeat myself because at this particular point I'm not sure I'm live yet. There, it popped up, and it seems to indicate that I am live now. It's nice to know that you're alive, right? Hey, my name is Brian Martin, and I write books about love. Oh, let's see if I have any of them right here. I might be able to show you. Yeah, I do. First book I ever wrote was called Fun Loving: How to Have a Practically Perfect Relationship. It was a fun book to write. Man, it launched me into a decade-long search to understand love. And what followed after it was a little book called, this is the first book in the series called Kindness is the Most Powerful Little Thing in the World. I'm using LOVE to guide me in this series, and the L, oh, by the way, it spells love. And the L in love in my world stands for little things. And so this is what I call the L book. Kindness is the most important book, little thing in the world. And what followed that was a wonderful little exercise called My Ideal Day of Love. I had a little brain fart going on. I don't know if you can see that on YouTube Live, but I just did. And it was a wonderful exercise about love. And I write it subtitled 24 Hours of Love at Home and Work. And it was really fun to write. There's 26 chapters. And then the last published book I have is called Eternity is the E in Love. And it's experiencing meaning and changing the world through the power of love. And this book is written, and I'm got it all done now, even the conclusion and summary. I'm just waiting on some of my co-authors to finish up with their material so that I can push it up to the publisher and get it out to the public. In the meantime, I am recording these live readings, and you can find them in YouTube. And I'll leave you the link there. And it's not right there. It's not there now, but after I finish, I go back and I'll plug in the link so that you can see all of them. This is what did I say? Is today the 6th reading? This is from the book, Oxytocin is the O in Love. Oxytocin is that powerful brain chemical that helps stimulate bonding and emotional connectedness. So oxytocin is the O in love. All right, so this is a section called Controlling Your Fight and Your Flee Response. And it's in a larger section about controlling your thinking. Because if you're going to enhance and grow your emotional connection with the people that you love the most, then you're going to need to learn how to control your thinking. And what's ironic about it is that most people don't even know what a thought is, or where thoughts come from, or how thoughts work. So here's a series of ways for you to control your thinking better, and this is by controlling your fight and your flee response. My breakthrough in controlling my thoughts was recognizing the biological foundation of thoughts and that I actually had control over them. For me, it began with the controlling brain. It began with controlling the brain chemical adrenaline, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and related type of chemicals. Controlling the brain chemical adrenaline and the fight or flee response. Adrenaline is a super powerful brain chemical that aids in survival. The reason that I could outrun that grizzly bear, and you have to go back to the beginning of the book, and there you can find the story about the grizzly bear. The reason that I could not outrun the grizzly bear was that the reason I could outrun the grizzly bear was that my adrenaline was my superpower. Adrenaline effects are legendary. Under the effects of adrenaline, people have lifted cars to free injured people, fought off wild animals barehanded, withstood the onslaught of evil intent, protected vulnerable children and families, and run miles seeking help. Adrenaline's life-saving characteristics are one of the reasons that you and I are here today. Our ancestors depended upon adrenaline to survive in their hostile, life-threatening world. What adrenaline does is well documented and easy to search. It increases the heart rate and the blood pressure, moving blood to muscles in the brain. It enhances lung capacity. It sends needed glucose to feed hardworking cells. It helps create a fighting machine or a fleeing gazelle from the claws and the jaws of a powerful lion. It's a fantastic life preserver. It is as effective today as it was for our ancestors. There's a couple problems associated with adrenaline. One being that most people today are not subject to attacks from hostile wild animals. That fact doesn't stop the body's use of adrenaline. More common today is perceived life threats. In fact, one of the most common perceived life threats is the loved one that we're closest to. Here is an adrenaline spiked scenario commonly experienced by people today: the domestic argument. The most ironic display of emotions is that in a matter of a few seconds, the one we love the most becomes the subject of intense anger triggered by adrenaline. It is as if a man-eating tiger is against us in our own kitchen, and we're fighting for our lives. Under the influence of adrenaline, people will fight with the ugliest and the most contemptuous words ever used. I refuse to write the words here because they are so powerfully destructive. You probably know them. Domestic violence triggered by adrenaline is ugly and nasty. Ugly words in the shape of weapons are used like clubs, intended to disable our foe, our beloved. If there's anything that makes one's wall of protection go up, it is an adrenaline-enhanced domestic argument. Adrenaline can destroy an emotional connection. Here's good news. You can control adrenaline, all the negativity with it, and even negate the physical consequences of it on your body with a 1-2 punch. First, you have to become aware that the drug is flowing through your veins. That is easy. Your blood pressure is high, your heart rate is above 100 beats per minute, and you're ready to attack. Second, after becoming aware, get away from the stimulus. Just leave. Here's a script that I've used. I feel sick. I got to get out of here. We can finish this later when I feel better. And then leave. Get out of there. Go away. Being on adrenaline is like being drunk. It adversely affects your reasoning. You have to get away from the stimuli. And third, you need to engage in the relaxation response. Are you ready for the relaxation response? I know you are. This is how I use the relaxation response. First, I find a quiet place and I get comfortable. Then I begin to focus on my breathing. I breathe from my belly and fill my lungs. When I breathe in, I say the words, I am grateful. Then I naturally exhale as much air as is naturally comfortable. And while I exhale, I say, I love you. I am grateful. I love you. Reciting these words helps me keep focused and my mind from wandering. I believe the focus on gratitude and love sends a good message to my body. If I'm under the influence of adrenaline, my mind will want to drift to the situation I came from and rehearse the event over and over again. If I allow myself to ruminate about the episode, it can actually re-trigger the adrenaline keeping me in the fight and the flee mode. That's why I need to keep coming back to my breathing. It can take as long as an hour for your body to process adrenaline. Breathing like this helps to stimulate the vagus nerve, not the Las Vegas nerve. No, this one is spelled Lagus. You can search for vagus nerve. The vagus nerve sends messages, chemicals, to the heart, allowing the heart rate to slow and speeding the process of calming your body and mind. Next, I systematically relax on my body. I do this intentionally, relaxing tense muscles starting from the top of my head, working down to my toes, and back up to the top of my head. Your face has a lot of muscles that need to be relaxed. Stretch them. As you leave your face to relax to other parts of your body, smile. Even if you don't feel like it, smile anyway. Holding a smile sends messages to your brain to release smile-related chemicals in a kind of a reverse transaction. Instead of brain chemicals sending messages to your muscles to smile, intentionally smiling triggers muscle-related chemicals and the feelings associated with it. Search smile for a lot of information. Let me reiterate that ruminations will return. When they return, continue with the relaxation response. This is fantastic training for controlling your thoughts. As you continue to return to the relaxation response, you may notice the power of the remuneration, remuneration, that word, fading. I can actually feel my negative thoughts dissipating. When your heart rate reaches about 70 beats per minute, then it's a pretty good indication that your body has processed a good portion of the adrenaline. You can continue the relaxation response for as long as you want. Try to get at least 20 minutes breathing. I am grateful. I love you. The added benefit of this focused attention or concentration is a general sense of well-being and being more productive. By the way, if you find yourself regularly experiencing adrenaline-fueled conflicts, I would encourage you to seek counseling. These episodes are terrible for your relationship and they're bad for your health, true. Adrenaline is a stress chemical. Stress kills. Consider your counseling a learning experience and an accountability coaching session. Controlling adrenaline helped me realize that I have a lot more control over my body and my mind and my emotions than I ever imagined possible. Think about it. Adrenaline is closely related to fear, anger, and a host of self-protecting, even negative thoughts about the other and myself, including shame, blame, self-loathing, hate, sadness, contempt, and even despair. When I employ the relaxation response, I'm actually getting a foothold on those emotions. Imagine your life being in control of all of your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions instead of being subject to them. I just can't reiterate to you how important it is for you to control the stress in your life. There's just a ton of research about how cortisol and adrenaline-like drugs in your body wreak havoc on your body. It's not a laughing matter, and it's nothing to take lightly. In our world today, we need to control stress, and controlling your adrenaline is a really, really important thing to do. Now, I know I've been going on for over 16 minutes, and thank you for listening this far. You know, they say that the average person only watches for less than 3 minutes, and here we are 16 minutes into this. But this is a legacy thing for me, as well as an opportunity to share with you important wisdom from my life. And so I'm going to continue with one more section, and I hope that you will enjoy this also. This is another really important part about controlling your thinking. You need to control your thinking in order to have an emotional connection in your life. And this is about controlling thoughts on sleepless nights. Here we go. I turn my sleepless nights into a thought-controlling classroom. I felt totally out of control with my sleeplessness. I would wake at midnight and not be able to get back to sleep until 4 or 6 a.m. About the time I'm to get ready and get ready for my day. So I took an online course about sleep. I learned a lot about sleeping, including about sleep cycles. I realized that on the near waking part of the cycle, I would slip into wakefulness and be stuck there for an hour or two until I caught the next cycle down into deep sleep. During this time, I would ruminate about anything, crazy things, always things I could do nothing about at 2 a.m. Then I would get fixated on that one thought and rehearse it again and again. Frequently, it would trigger a fear response. It triggers adrenaline and cortisol. I knew my amygdala was wide awake. My brain was flooded with adrenaline, and my system managing neocortex was either resting or compromised. So my blood pressure would rise and my heart race. So I employed the relaxation response from above. It was good, but it takes a while for the body to process the adrenaline, and it kept me awake. New troubling ideas would sneak in. And then one night it dawned on me. The light went on as with a flick of a switch. There must be a million things for me to think about besides the one idea my brain was fixed on. So I started thinking about things that I wanted to think about instead of the powerful ruminating thoughts. One of the brain's limitations is that it can focus on one thing at a time, mostly. Other thoughts may compete for consciousness, but usually one thought prevails. You've probably experienced how during a conversation you get off on a rabbit trail story and you forget what you're talking about in the first place, right? You've exceeded your brain's capacity. My daughter crosses her fingers to help her hold a thought in place for another thought. The brain can focus on a series of related ideas, but usually one will predominate at a time. We have a lifetime of experiences and thoughts held in our memory. You can pull up a story from when you were a teen, when your family moved to a new city, your first kiss, a great hiking experience, and so on. Moreover, you can create new stories, even fantasies, and have conversations with historical figures. Here then was my big breakthrough. I can think about anything I want to at any particular time, and it does not need to be what I'm currently thinking about. We have amazing control over what we think about. There's no reason that I needed to focus on a perplexing problem at 2 a.m. in the morning. It may be a powerful, demanding thought, but that doesn't mean I need to continue to focus on it. Some people use the metaphor of bandwidth to describe a powerful thought. A particular thought may have greater bandwidth, demanding more attention. Neuroscience describes how a well-used neural pathway will be habitually used by the brain, dominating attention. I use the freeway analogy. Growing up in Southern California, speedy travel was done on a massive freeway system. Taking narrow ground streets was much less efficient and time-consuming. When I get one of those perplexing problems in my mind at 2 a.m., I imagine being stuck on an 8-lane freeway during rush hour. So I get off the freeway in my mind and I go down a nice 2-lane country road in my mind. My goodness, look at all those rows of grapevines in that vineyard. My mind can even get a drone's view of the valley, or I can find myself flying over and seeing a patchwork of farms with streams and rivers meandering through as if I was landing at the Fresno airport. And then all of a sudden, for some unknown force, plucks me out of my thought and puts me right back in the middle of the 8-lane freeway, worrying about that perplexing problem again. That wide neural pathway is well learned. And that's the point. It's just learned. It's just chemicals. So I just get right off the freeway again, and I teach my brain how lovely it is to stand at the top of the railing of the Glacier Point overlooking Yosemite Valley. A cool breeze blows from below where the Merced River is gently meandering through the verdant valley, when suddenly that breeze gently and firmly lifts me over the rail, and I'm flying west over the valley towards El Capitan. I see people climbing on the face of that mammoth granite rock, and others standing on the valley floor, watching the climbers through their binoculars. And then suddenly I'm back in that problem on the freeway. But I don't let that stop me. I get off the road. And it doesn't take long until I can actually feel the freeway thought dissipating and its power waning. I've just controlled a powerful thought. I beat that freaking perplexing problem thought into submission. I still have sleepless nights when I awake at 2 a.m. and powerful thoughts attempt to control my consciousness with adrenaline flooding, racing my heart. But I take control and I slow my heart with the relaxation response. I think about what I want to think about until my body processes the chemicals and I return to sleep. It doesn't take long for me to control all my thinking and my feelings and emotions in just about every area of my life during sleepless nights and throughout the day. You know, I'm a voracious reader and I'm continuing to study about sleep. And there's some wonderful things that are written about sleep. And there's a lot of things for us to continue to learn. I recommend that you learn some more. I'll share with you and down below one of the books that I'm reading right now. It's just life transformational reading to learn about sleep. It's such an important thing to read about. One of the things that experts recommend for sleepless nights is that when you have a sleepless night, to get up and to find a nice place, comfortable place, and to read until you feel drowsy and can fall back to sleep again naturally. That's another powerful way to control your body's hormones and chemicals, is to let that process work through your body while you're relaxing and while you're reading. Hey, thanks for spending so much time with me today. I know I was on a little bit early today. I hope you don't mind. My name is Brian Martin, and I have been reading to you from my book, Oxytocin is the O in Love. And I'm going to leave a note down below about where you can find all of these on my YouTube channel. And there's an entire playlist devoted to oxytocin, and there's a playlist devoted to my ebook, and there's a playlist devoted to my spiritual video blog, What Was Jesus Thinking?, which I record on Sunday mornings around 9 o'clock on my Facebook page at Rev B. Martin. Hey, until next time, thanks for joining me. God bless you. I love you, and I hope that your emotional connections grow and grow and grow, and that you become rich in love. Bye-bye.